Before we talk about the ways to feel more connected, let's take a look at the most common reasons that people feel loneliness in their retired lives. There are really 3 ways that we experience loneliness in our retirement during the holidays. And the first of those is nostalgia. Nostalgia for a bygone era, a time in our youth when the days and the nights seemed magical. Snow falling and sledding or snowball fights with your friends, your siblings, or your neighbors, coming back in for hot chocolate. And if you had a fireplace, sitting by the fire or roasting marshmallows or watching your favorite cartoons. Whatever it was, of course it was magical. And it's one of the most precious memories of our lives. Oftentimes, the memory itself makes us long for that time. And that's where the loneliness and the sadness comes in. Because we long for a simpler time when we had no cares, when we were kids and we could play all the time. And so yes, of course we miss that. And of course we long for that. But actually, Christmas is one of those times when we get to really celebrate being a kid and being a little bit silly or being a little bit more playful, or celebrating through decorating or singing carols. You can sing carols to yourself. We can put on great music. Some of them can be oldies from back in the day or more modern classics, and sing along while we're cooking or while we're making the bed and just brighten up our day. We don't have to stay in the loneliness aspect of the memory. We can acknowledge it. And we can even spend a little bit of time noodling through that emotion. But we can also take charge of it by doing something now, in the here and now, that brings us a similar type of joy. Making some hot chocolate, putting on some great music, walking while it's snowing outside, or watching the snow fall from your window. These remind us of the times when we were young, when we were little, and we enjoyed all of those things, and we can still enjoy them today. If we shift the focus just a little bit to the here and now, to making memories now that will allow us to have a lot of the same feelings, then we brighten our day. And really that's what the holidays are about anyway. It's brightening our spirits and sharing that where we can. The second area that I have found is particularly tender, and that is lost loves. Whether it be lost loves romantically, lost pets, people that are no longer in our lives. And it's important to honor the contribution they made to our lives, whether it be a pet, a grandparent, a neighbor, or a teacher, even lost romantic loves. It's important to kind of wish them well wherever they are in their lives and acknowledge that it was a great contribution for the most part, even if it ended in breakup. But there were wonderful memories. And actually, I think it's the wonderful memories that we're longing for and that we miss, and that what makes us feel lonely. So celebrate it. Celebrate that wonderful time, but then move it forward into something that contributes, something that brings you peace now. The third loneliness area that shows up during the holidays is the loss of a role. And for me, that loss is parenting, being a mom, cooking the meals, wrapping the presents, being secretive about all of the goodies that were yet to come for the holiday season. And when that is gone, when that role changes, we can feel alone. And so I think it's important to identify and talk about the role of feeling needed and useful and contributing to the things that brought you a lot of joy in your life, and how that can impact your loneliness. At the end of the day, though, we have so many options for where we can contribute in other ways. We don't have to stay in the loneliness aspect. We can acknowledge it, but then take charge of it. These feelings and emotions can happen to any of us at any age, and in particular, of course, in retirement. But younger folk are not exempt from feeling lonely during the holidays either. But there's a couple things we can do for ourselves that helps us to feel more seen and feel more acknowledged and really find our sweet spot for the holidays. One of the most important things is to start the day on a warm note. And that means getting a nice warm beverage and also noticing the early morning sunshine, because I have found that there's a particular quality to the first light of the day that makes me feel really happy and that somehow lights me up. And noticing it as early as I can, one of the things that really lightens my mood is to spend a little bit of time just feeling the sun on my face. If I can't be outside because the weather is cold, then I can do it through the window and feel the sunlight, notice the sparkle, and just feel invigorated and feel the freshness of a new day and the promise of a new day. And that sort of sets the tone for me for the rest of the day. I have said, in essence, a little prayer for the day to begin and to embrace all of the possibility of the day. It's particularly invigorating and enlivening and life-affirming. I highly recommend it. It's a ritual that I like to do whenever I can. One of the things that makes the holidays feel more like the holidays is to make some hot spiced cider. And it's not really hard. It's just taking a half gallon of cider and adding orange slices, apple slices, cloves, cinnamon, whatever spices you particularly like. Just put it on a warm stovetop and let it mull for about an hour, and you will find the most delectable treat that you can have in the morning or at night. It's very soothing and very warming, and really, again, taps into that nostalgia of our younger years. It is really the essence of the holidays in a cup. And I always feel festive. I always feel seen. I always feel embraced by the season when I have some hot cider. It's a really marvelous thing to do for yourself, and it's super easy. Another way to celebrate the holiday and the holiday spirit is to set a beautiful place setting for yourself when you're about to have a meal. And you can put a tablecloth or a placemat, some holiday decor, and just set it as if you were in a fancy restaurant. You know, put the larger plate and then the smaller plate or the salad plate, put all the silverware out, and fold your napkin in a beautiful way. This way, when you arrive at the table, you not only feel celebrated, but you feel special. And every meal can feel more special and more sacred when you do something as simple as just setting the table a little bit nicer than you normally do. During the holidays, it really brings that holiday flavor. And you can put a candle, a scented candle, or some garland, or some fresh pine cuttings from outside. There's lots of ways that you can make it very special. One of the things I did this year to get into the holiday spirit was I went to the local discount store and I walked up and down the candle aisle and I smelled all of the scents and opened each one and got playful. I danced to the music that was playing on the loudspeaker and I just sort of enjoyed it, and I left feeling so youthful and invigorated and happy. And all I was doing was going to look at the candles. I didn't have to buy any, but I could if I wanted to. And to my surprise, I felt excited and youthful and playful. And it surprised me how much it made my evening, how much it made me feel in love with the holidays. And it was the simplest of gestures, but it really made a huge difference in my mood and in my appreciation for the holidays. One of the things I do every holiday season is I watch the parade. And it really helps me to get in the holiday spirit because the floats, the high school bands coming down the street, and of course the culmination in Santa Claus coming to town. And it just fills me up with a sense of being a kid again. And I really appreciate that spirit of Christmas. It's a holiday classic and I never miss it. And then of course, leaving the football on for the rest of the day while I cook something wonderful and can have that holiday vibe in the household. I don't feel alone when I have that on in the background. I found that leaving it on and having that background noise and that holiday cheer in the background, it makes me feel connected. It makes me feel enlivened. And so I've started filling my house with more music and singing along or tap dancing along or just enjoying the vibe. And there's that nostalgia again, that opportunity to bring in some of the elements from our younger years, like the scent of pine in the house. It just brings the holidays into the house and the happiness into the house. And happiness comes from so many places, not necessarily from people. And of course, decorating the house just a little bit, just with some candles or some garland, or something that is actually even from my past. I have some old 1960s little statues that spell out Noel, and that just brings in the piece from my past that is nostalgic and makes me smile. Those are just a few of the things that I do to bring some holiday cheer into the house and to lift my spirits. I'd love to hear in the comments the things that you do to lift your spirits during the holidays or when you're feeling particularly alone. Please drop a note in the comment section below. Please do like or subscribe if you enjoyed this content, if you've learned just one thing today or had one aha moment. As always, it's a pleasure to spend time with you. Until the next time, take care.